No, 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 it's my cookie. It's my cookie. Don't. Oh, my cookie. Cookie. No, don't eat. Don't eat my cookies. Don't eat my... Oh, it was just a dream. Oh, it was just a dream, unicorn. That monster ate my cookies. Oh man, I need to play more Sheepy time. I need Sheepy time. Hi everybody and welcome to the channel. I am Richard. I hope you feel well rested and had a peaceful night of sleep. Because if you did, it's probably because I played Sheepy time for you. This is all about you portraying as the sheep of sleep, and every time you jump the little fence you give the human race a better sleep at night, keeping the nightmares away. This is a cute game, but it's actually quite strategical. It's from 1 to 4 players, it's from 30 to 45 minutes, and it's from 10 years and above. The game's rules are not that complicated, but it needs you to be a bit strategical about how you play. And this is a push your luck kind of game, so you need to know when to stop playing. I'm going to show you the setup, I'm going to show you the gameplay, so let's have a look at it. During setup phase, there's a few things that you need to do to get started. First of all players need to pick their sheep. They're all different colors and each player gets one sheep. This one picks the purple one. After that you need to take up your C's, also matching the colors on your sheep. After that you need to pick up your little head. The head should be placed on the number 0 up in the cloud on the scoreboard. And then you need to pick up your little pillow as well. The same thing here, same color as your sheep. This one goes down in the corner of the scoreboard on number 40. All players do the same thing. Before you set up, you also need to figure out which kind of nightmare cards you want to use. For beginners, it's recommended that you use the Nightmare Wolf. These should be mixed up with the player cards. Now, this is a 3-player game, so I only have cards here that has 2 and 3 on them on the top. For 4 players games, you need to put in the 4 number cards as well. Now you take these with the nightmare cards and you mix them up together. Once you've done that, you pick the first tile from the tile pile and put on number 5 on the center's big tile. After that you take the second tile and you put that on number 10 on the big tile board as well. You put out the little fence here between 1 and 10, there's hole for it. You take the nightmare and put him in the middle. After that, you also put out 4 tiles on the table to create a market. Once this is done, well, you are ready to play. This game plays out during 2 different phases. First you have the racing phase, where you take your little sheep and you race around the little track trying to jump the fence. Then you have the resting phase, where you get an opportunity to play out your strategies and place these tiles alongside the course. The first thing a player should do during their turn is to pick up 2 cards. These 2 cards should be kept secret and for your eyes only. During your racing round you will play 1 card. You will be giving a bunch of different choices, but mostly it's about moving around your character on the track or catching some C's. Now, moving around, that's easy enough. You just move the amount of steps that the card says. But how do you catch C's? Well, if you have C's in your inventory, you can pick them up, choose a tile alongside the racing track, and place your C on it to gain that benefit during the resting phase. And if you are all out of C's, then you can choose to take up your C and place it on a different tile instead. Now it's quite important for you to keep an eye out on the cards, because some of these cards says move a space or catch some C's, and some of them say move a space and catch a C. Now the difference here is of course that on the cards that says or, you can only pick one. But on the one that says and, you can do both. So during the racing phase, it's all about you getting scores, also known as wings. How do you get these little wings? Well, you get them in a bunch of different ways. Every time you cross the fence, for example, you get 5 wings. But you can also land on these different tiles here. Here, for example, it says gain 2 wings for each C you have here. Now, this purple one doesn't have any C's here, so they can't use it. But let's say that they have placed 3 wings here during the last resting phase. That would mean that when they landed there now, they would get 6 wings for these 3 C's, but then they would have to remove them. And every time you score, you move your little head up the amount of scores you have received. The purple one here, for example, he got 6 points for the tiles with the wings, so he moved up to number 6. The orange one got 5 points for crossing the fence, which moved him up to number 5 on the scoring board. Like I said at the start of this video, this game is a push your luck kind of game. But what does that mean? Well, that means that you need to know when to call it the night. But we all know that, right? Every time your sheep passes the fence, you get the option to call it a night, which means that you take your little sheep out of the game and put it in front of you. And the other players will keep on playing until they call it the night. But why would you want to call it the night and get out of the game? Well, sooner or later, the nightmare will come into play. If you choose to not call it the night and keep on going, and only have 1 or less cards on your hand for any reason, you need to pick up cards until you have 2 more on your hand to go another racing round. Now, if you're unlucky enough to draw the nightmare, you have to play this one. The nightmare can scare your sheep. And if you're unlucky, it can scare it twice, which forces it to wake up and leave the game. Now, if the nightmare ends up at the same spot as you, your sheep will get scared. But also, if it just moves through your space, your sheep will also be scared. But the nightmare can also jump to different tiles. But if it jumps from number 5 to number 9, it does not move past your sheep. It jumps over it. So this one is okay. And it did not land on the same space as the sheep either, so this one is safe. But as it moves through this one, it becomes scared and you have to lie it down on its back. Now, if you're unlucky and the nightmare ends up on your tile again, when you're already scared once, this sheep wakes up and has to leave the game. So once everybody have chosen to call it a night or been scared out of the game, it's time to check the scoreboard. The goal of this game is for your head to reach your pillow. Once you reach your pillow, you win the game. None of these players have reached their pillow yet. So it's time to check the scoreboard up here to see what kind of amount you lower your pillows. This player here, for example, leads the game and would be able to lower his pillow 10 spaces, which would put him way down on number 30. This one is now the second one and would be able to lower it 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one is the third player and gets to lower it 5 spaces, which moves your pillow lower down and your head will reset during this phase, but the next time it will be easier for you to reach your pillow. So once you have figured out who is the racing turns winner, it's time for you to reset the game, which means that you take all the little wooden components, the heads, the sheep, and the nightmares, and you reset them from where they were at the start. You also put back all the cards and reshuffle the deck. Now you go into the resting phase. In the resting phase, you have 2 options. So during the resting round, each player gets 2 choices. The player with the first sheep token goes first. After this one, it goes clockwise around the table. So you can choose to either pick a tile from the market, one of the 4 tiles, and place it somewhere around the board. Each tile shows how many Cs are needed to be placed around the board. This one, for example, needs an infinity C, looking like this one. This tile here would need 3 regular Cs to be placed somewhere around the board. And you can choose any spot you want as long as the spot is available. Once you have placed your tile and put the amount of Cs on it that is needed, you get to pick a new tile from the market stack and refill the market. If you for some reason chooses not to place a tile, or maybe you can't because all the tile spaces are already filled up, you get the option of placing 2 Cs on any tile you want. And you can choose to place both of them on one tile or to split them up. Once the resting phase is over, you're ready for a new racing turn, which means that you start over again. You take up 2 cards and you start to move your little sheep around the track again. This is the way the game will continue. Racing round, resting round, racing round, resting round. After every racing round, you will go through the scoring board and move your pillows the steps down that you have actually managed to place yourself in, which also makes it easier and easier for you to eventually reach your pillow and win the game. So that was Sheepy Time from AEG Games, a 1 to 4 player game, 30 to 45 minutes, above 10 years of age. I gotta hand them out to them. Once I saw this artwork, I thought this was a children's game, and I didn't really expect that much, to be quite honest. But once I started playing it and when I got my hands on it, I found out that this is actually a quite tough strategic game, and you need to know when you should call it the night and call it quits, because when you push your luck too much, you end up losing, like I did. I'm the push your luck kind of guy. I always just want just a little bit more, and then I end up with nothing at all. So know when to call it the night, know when to move your sheeps and just go to bed. Sleepy Time is a game for the whole family. I actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite fun. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. Maybe throw in a comment here about what you thought about the game. Are you gonna check it out? Are you maybe even gonna buy it? I would love to hear that. I would like to hear your thoughts about it. There will be more videos next week, so be sure to push the subscribe button here and show me some love. So until next week, sleep well.